And now, the best 60-ish seconds of your week. And this week, once again, reapportionment is front and center as the Pennsylvania Supreme Court takes over the Congressional map-making. You know, the process that occurs every 10 years is at its heart political. And for all those that want to say it's not, they're only deluding themselves. What we have now is a situation where it appears likely that the primary will be postponed because the maps both on the legislative and congressional side aren't done in time, and these facts remain. The Legislative Reapportionment Commission's plan is both unconstitutional and unfair, and I provided testimony to the LRC to that effect prior to the close of that period when comments could be made by the public. I don't think any other gubernatorial candidates did. You might want to ask yourself, why not? Because there is an issue on which leadership should absolutely be taken. We'll have to wait and see how all this works out, but ultimately, the plan that the legislature passed for congressional maps was one developed by citizens, something that we said years ago should be done. Every 10 years this happens, and ultimately it is, at its core, something that the Congress and the founders intended to be a political process. And here in the Commonwealth, Pennsylvania's favorite, Punxsutawney Phil, emerged to tell us that there are 6 more weeks of winter. You know, I love Pennsylvania, and I am Pennsylvania to the core. But about the middle of February, I sometimes have to kind of ask why. I was born and bred for sun, and I would sure rather live without 6 more weeks of winter. The good news is that Punxsutawney Phil isn't always right, so let's just hope that this time he might have gotten it wrong. And while we're in the middle of winter, the Winter Olympics are underway from China. Now let's think about the People's Republic of China and what they've given to the world. A totalitarian, abusive of human and civil rights, repressive regime which has exported disease and all sorts of bad things, and yet we're there. You gotta wonder why, because China should be shut off from the family of nations at this point because of all of their activities over the course of the past few years, but in particular, what's going on right now. By the way, I heard that the U.S. bobsled team has renamed their sled the Biden because nothing takes us downhill faster than Biden. I can't confirm that for you, but that's what I hear. And today marks the Republican State Committee's winter meeting where they will most likely not endorse any candidate for governor. I've never been particularly fond of endorsements, so I'm perfectly satisfied with that. And I think back to the last time where there was a multi-field primary and no endorsement for governor. And in the final days of that campaign, the Republicans surged ahead and won the governor's race. That was in 1978, which brought us Dick Thornburgh, one of Pennsylvania's truly great governors. So I'm very optimistic about 2022 providing us the same result. And one bittersweet reminisce, because tomorrow is the 111th birthday of Ronald Wilson Reagan, or as he would say, the 72nd anniversary of his 39th birthday. You know, I had the great privilege and real honor of working with Ronald Reagan for many years, and I learned so much from him. Not only how to communicate well, but how to be a truly happy warrior. Because Ronald Reagan, although he was committed to principle and was willing to fight for it to the core, was always able to do it with a smile on his face and a friendly and happy disposition. He was a person so dedicated to freedom and to individual liberty and to the rising tide that he believed lifted all boats and brought prosperity to all. Let's really celebrate Ronald Reagan's birthday on February 6th. And finally, a couple of retirements that we're hearing about, both great quarterbacks, perhaps the greatest guys to ever play the game at that position, both Big Ben from Pittsburgh and Tom Brady from, well, I guess the Bucs, but mostly from the Pats, going into retirement. And we come to the Super Bowl without either Pittsburgh or Philadelphia being there, and without both of them. But it's always a great weekend, and we'll look forward to talking about it next Saturday on the eve of the big day, because for now, that is the best 60-ish seconds of your week.